Hi, I'm David.
Hi, I'm Yelena.
Welcome to our tutorial on Chakrasana, the backward somersault vinyasa that we do in Ashtanga yoga. Hopefully you like it and you'll like this video. You have to push the little like thing. And if you do like it, please let us know. Or if you want to see something else, write it in the comments. And subscribe, please subscribe. We're going to make these every week. We're releasing more all the time. So join us. Right?
All right.
Okay, so this is kind of a fun vinyasa.
Well, depends who you ask.
Actually, yeah. A lot of people skip this vinyasa in their practice, if they can, because it freaks them out rolling over the neck, right? The good news is you shouldn't really roll on your, well, you kind of have to flex your neck a bit.
You go over your neck,
Yeah.
but your neck does not participate in it.
Okay.
It's very relaxed.
Yes, it's very relaxing vinyasa. It's a relaxed backward somersault. So we've got a lot of experience teaching this because a lot of people have problems with it at first and need it broken down. And we've got a few different versions to show you. So there's, you know, we always call it the professional version, you know, the beautiful, very quick one where you end up in Chaturanga Dandasana. And then there's more of kind of a roll where you'll end up in something like a downward dog. Usually people begin their journey in Chakrasana doing some kind of modified version where they end up in the downward dog. Okay, so that's the one we're going to show you first, and then we'll build up to the professional version. Okay, so I should say if you do have a sore neck or you know, any neck problems, you might not want to practice this right now. You might want to wait till that your neck is feeling better, okay? Because no matter what, you do have to, you know, bring your chin to your chest, flex your neck a lot, so it could, you know, make it worse, not better at first. So just be very cautious while you're doing this. All right. So we're going to start lying down. So this vinyasa shows up in primary series in the second half. The first time it shows up is after Supta Padangusthasana, when we're lying down, right? And so we exit all of the postures that end when we're lying down like this with this Chakrasana Vinyasa. So Yelena is going to use her arms on the floor beside her and lift her legs up and over. So this is kind of like a plow pose, you know, at first. And there's nothing wrong with using your arms to brace yourself to get up. That's the best way to do it. And then she's going to keep the toes curled under and bring the hands back by the head. So this is the key really here. Your arms are going to have to help you, right? Do this posture. You really want them to. So they need to be in a position that they can help you, that you can access the strength in the arms and the shoulders. If the elbows are coming off the line of the wrists, if they're coming away from center, then you're not going to be able to press efficiently down through the hands. So we need to try to get the elbows over the wrists. To do that, we're going to turn the hands out a little bit. So the fingers are going to turn away from the head, and that's going to externally rotate the arms slightly, and that'll direct the elbows in more. Okay, and then just make sure that you can actually put some weight down through the hands. This is hard at first. It's normal for it to be difficult. And then you're going to rock back and forth a little bit here. The trick here is that when your hips come back and your weight comes this way, don't start to push back through your head. Try to relax your neck completely. It's almost like you're just going to flop into this backwards roll. So you're going to shift the hips towards the front, and then the weight goes back, relax the neck, start to push through the hands. Do that a few times, build a little bit of momentum, and then when you feel like you've got enough momentum, at the end of this movement back, bend your knees and let the hips come back towards the heels. So look, that's more even like a child's pose or something that you would end in. So very kind of modified way of doing it at first, but just to get used to that idea of bringing the weight back, right?
And then this is also a place where you can stop even earlier. So if you're practicing home alone and you don't have anyone that can help you and assist you, or even if there's so much fear coming up, we always get our students to just go into that setup. So even if the hands are still bracing the back, but with the feet over the head, and see if you can just be there and just breathe there. Let everything calm down. Get used to kind of being in that position. I know that it can be also
Feels like a little claustrophobic.
Yeah. And I know from also having boobs and having students that have boobs that sometimes it can also add to a little bit of a panic because there's so much pressure that can go onto the neck. So just see if you can stay there and breathe there. And then if you feel okay, bring the hands, and maybe that's all you do for a little while. Mm-hmm. And then over time, then you'll get more comfortable doing the whole swing with the momentum, and then one day you'll just roll over too. But pausing there is an important...
Yeah, you have to be able to relax while you're doing it. If you're not relaxed, just in that setup position, that tension is going to come through the movement. It's more likely that you're going to do something crazy. Crazy would be like a lot of the time people's feet lift into the air and then the weight dumps back down onto the neck, something like that.
Or using the back of the head to start pressing into the floor to roll over, but that will cause a lot of pain and discomfort in the neck because the muscles start to get really tense. And as we said at the beginning, you don't want to use any of those muscles to assist you in rolling back. The neck is fully relaxed.
Right. Okay, so that was the first sort of version. Let's try one slightly more advanced. So the only difference this time is that we're going to keep the legs straighter. So remember last time it was kind of the collapse of the knees down that encouraged the hips to drop, that gave us the weight and the movement to go into the backwards roll. Now Yelena's going to try to slide her feet a little bit more as she goes back. So she'll do that same rocking action, and then when she's ready, you see the feet traveled towards the back of the mat, and then she ended up in more like a downward facing dog shape. So similar, just a little bit harder because you're keeping your lines a bit straighter, So that could be something that you start to work on. And then when that starts to happen, and I would say the key to that one that Jelena just did, let's call it version 2, is that she let the feet travel back, right? As she came over. If you fix your toes, press them down into the floor and try to do that, you're not going to get the movement back that's going to let you roll. It'll stop you.
You're going to feel stuck in your arms. And another thing that I would say is important in both step 1 and 2, or the versions 1 and 2, is that you squeeze the legs together, and particularly you squeeze the feet together so that it not only engages the middle line of your body, but it also keeps everything more centered, because the tendency when we're learning this is to go towards one side, roll over only one side, and that only becomes more likely because the feet start to kind of go apart, and then the feet start to lift out into the air, and then the weight starts to get dumped, and then again that can cause
you're going on one side of your neck.
So squeeze the legs together or keep the feet apart for both version 1 and 2, even in the version 1 where the knees do get bent as you go.
And so both of these were backward somersaults, right? Most of us did them when we were kids maybe. So very similar to that. You're rolling over your head. The sort of the full version is more of a backwards flip in a way. So Jelena she's rolling over her head, but she's drawing the head through, so she ends up in Chaturanga Dandasana. So this is pretty fancy. This would allow us, when you can do this version, it kind of lets you do the full expression of the vinyasa along with the count correctly. So from here, it's all going to be on an inhale. You're going to lift the legs and go all the way, push, bring the head forward, and then you're in Chaturanga at the end of the inhale, you exhale there. Wow, Isn't that nice? So what's happening there is that as Jelena goes back, she's going to push really firmly into the hands to get the head and the shoulders to lift away from the floor, and then draw the head forward and through. So you can see kind of her chest doesn't ever end up going back. It always stays in line and then forward of the forearms. Any tips to make that happen? I find momentum is
Exactly.
good. Yeah.
I was just going to say that. It's momentum, and you just have to be really comfortable with, again, being on the neck, because you're relaxed and you're just letting the weight of your lower body kind of tip you back as you pull the upper body through.
Yeah.
And the faster you do it, the easier it is. I'm breaking it down and doing it slow just for the visual purposes, but
Yeah. Yeah, so if you think
Speed.
about the correct vinyasa for it, if it's all happening on an inhale, that's a lot of movement, right? So inhale, legs up and over. Exhale.
yeah. And the momentum, what you were saying, starts literally from the floor. So as soon as you start lifting the legs, it's that momentum that kind of carries you over. So if you can not pause anywhere along the way and just...
And I don't know if you noticed, but Jelena started with her hands back by her head, and the other ones, she was using her arms as levers to help lift the legs and the hips. In this one, she was lying down flat with the legs down on the ground, put the hands back, and then lifted the legs. So that gave her even more speed, you know what I mean? She didn't have to bring her hands back as she went, they were already there. Yeah. Okay?
Good luck.
Yeah. Be safe. Yeah. Did you like this? I hope so. Let us know and tell us what you want to see if there's something else. We're doing these every week, so subscribe so you catch the next one. And if you want to see something specific, we can make it for you. All you'd have to do is tell us. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.